This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta in the compounds of the French Embassy in New Delhi, and my guest this week, Bernard Kouchner, the French Foreign Minister. And like all things French and all people French, he's a complex personality.
It starts well.
He's a leftist who works in a right-wing government. He opposed his boss, who handpicked him for a key job, that is the foreign minister. You are a leftist who supported the war in Iraq, and you're one of the very few French people to do so. And you've been called a caviar and champagne socialist, but you have gone around the world helping refugees, victims of many wars. So how wonderful to have you in Walk the Talk, Minister.
Good to see you. Well, I've been asked to be member of this government, but not to renounce, not to change my mind.
Yes.
On the contrary, I believe, even if my comrades were not feeling any longer, that I'm still a socialist.
Yes.
That's all. But I'm working with President Sarkozy, and I think that what we have done, what we have achieved, and especially him, since 7 months is not so bad.
You know, balancing contradictions, you could be a character straight out of Indian politics.
Well, yes. But I'm still an activist.
Yes.
I'm not a professional. I'm not a politician in the, let's say, very serious sense of the word. I'm using my, not ability, but my knowledge of the rest of the world in order to be useful to my country. And to the idea, I'm still getting on the way to peace, on the way to understanding with people not looking like us. That's all, you and me.
Absolutely. So when you say activist, are you referring to your ideological beliefs or to what you've done through much of your life, which is actually you set up Medicine Sans Frontières,
yes,
if I pronounce it right.
I founded, yes.
Yes. Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
It went around the world helping victims of conflict.
Yes.
And took very interesting positions on conflicts for 4 decades.
Yes, I did.
Starting with Biafra.
Yes, I did. And this is what I'm calling myself very arrogantly an activist. Not because I'm a political activist. I was also a political activist. But for me, humanitarian activities and political activities were very close to each other. Right. I want more humanism in politics. I want a bit more politic in humanism.
And where does diplomacy figure in that?
Well, diplomacy is certainly a new mean. I'm using new tools to get the same result, hoping to get the same result. I was involved in Lebanon 7 times, 8 times, 10 times, and some days ago another time. As I have been involved in Lebanon as a doctor, working in all the camps, helping the wounded person and the casualties.
And as a peacemaker in Sri Lanka?
Yes, yes, peacemaker. I was part of this group.
Eminent Persons Group.
Eminent Person groups.
To find a solution with LTTE and...
Yes, no, to help the people, I mean the justice, legal people, to get some result in inquiries. And it was a European Union ideas and Madame Benita Ferrero-Waldner, the commissioner's ideas. And I discovered this huge, very difficult problem of Sri Lanka with tigers, Tamil tigers on one side and the government on the other side since 30 years, my dear, 30 years. Nobody is aware about that, nobody is interested. Right. Still going on, the war. I tried. Then I had to resign because I went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so it was impossible.
We lost one of our former foreign ministers, one of our foremost political leaders to that crisis.
Yes.
Rajiv Gandhi. In fact,
I remember
that. His son was at your table at the lunch.
Exactly.
Together.
Exactly, I remember that. And I was close to his son, and I didn't talk about that because we were talking about Afghanistan. But yes, right. I remember that. That's why he has been assassinated. He has been assassinated.
But you know, credit also to Sarkozy that he reached out to you. You didn't call him nice things in the election campaign. I think you at one point said Sarkozy has no shame.
Of course, yes, I was against. I voted in favor of my socialist candidate, right, which was Ségolène Royal.
Right.
And not only in the first round, but the second round. But he knows that,
Yes.
and he didn't ask me to change my mind another time.
Did you ask him? Did you ask him why did he still pick you?
Well, several times.
What did he say?
Sorry.
What did he say?
Well, he said that he loves unguided guys, unguided missiles, as you have to say so.
That's an expression that's been used about you by other people.
By Boutros.
Boutros Ghali, yes.
Yes, but he was wrong in that time because it was just before sending me to Rwanda
Right.
during the genocide time. And we did our best to stop the crimes. And I went to Nelson Mandela in asking him to use his very great influence to stop the war. The genocide, not the war, but unfortunately it was a bit too late.
But why was he wrong in calling you an unguided missile?
Well, he believed that I was not a diplomat. Now I'm in charge of
Foreign policy.
Foreign
yes.
policy.
I know you've been to India before, on very short visits.
Yes.
I think last at Mother Teresa's funeral.
Yes.
How does India look to you today, at the end of 2007, and on the eve of your president's visit here?
Has a very important country, a great country. Why? The most important democracy of the world, proving to the rest of the world that even with more than 1 billion people, you can set up democracy. And not only that, certainly a sort of originality, a sort of personality not comparable to the others. And that's why we must be closer, the French people and the Indian people, because we have our, let's say, particular approach.
Also a
of the
democracy that accepts the left, you know, and
Of
where
course,
the
yes.
left accepts parliamentary democracy fully.
Of course, yes. This government is supported by the
Absolutely,
Communist Party.
yes.
We had lunch with one of the communist leaders, and of course, we have also a Communist Party. It has changed, but it's still a Communist Party.
But it seems like the problems here are stronger between the left and the non-left. You know, the one question being the nuclear deal, which I am sure you are familiar with, that India has been negotiating with the US.
Yes, I think that they are right, you were right, and they are right, and we want, my country, to negotiate the same agreement with France, because we are, I believe, not bad in nuclear power for civilian use, for electricity, etc., with a sort of security. Security is major.
When you say you were right and they were right, you mean India is right and America is right?
India is right, America is right, France is right in proposing you the same way. The same agreement.
So it's a good deal and you support it?
I think so. Yes, I think so. Because being isolated in such a very difficult, facing such a difficult problem of proliferation, etc., we have to be all together. And certainly we have to set up, this is the French idea, in the coming months or days, atomic nuclear security, protecting the people and not allowing proliferation.
And where does India figure in that grand scheme of nuclear security, the global system of nuclear security?
Yes.
How does India figure in that?
We'll see, but I think that we will be part of. Of course you are part of. But we have to develop this idea, not to stop. Our attitude facing Iran is certainly based on serious threat, but this is not enough. We have to ensure the people that it will not be a sort of ghost of the developing and the proliferation of nuclear. Because after Iran, all the other countries all around try to develop.
So Iran is a different situation, say, from that of India?
Oh, completely. Very different. You're a democracy.
Yes.
You are not threatening your neighbors. You are not, for the time being, and you are not deciding to get rid of one country like Mr. Ahmadinejad said to Israel. So this is completely different.
So,
but you are not. You didn't sign the
NPT.
non-proliferation treaty.
And is that a problem?
It's a problem in a way, but it must be not a problem in the future if you can get an agreement with the agency, with Mohammed al-Baradei.
Which is now being negotiated.
on the line. But you didn't sign, you didn't get this agreement. But otherwise, yes, you have to be accepted as a big democracy, and we have to try to get this agreement for all over the
So
world.
let me get this right. You think that from French point of view, the Indo-US nuclear deal is good for India and good for US and good for the world?
Good for the world, and we are working and still working. We were working
For
we
a
are
similar
still
treaty
working.
between India and France.
Absolutely, this is our position.
there are many
but we
peop-
have to convince our colleagues, and we do not force the people to
Right.
accept that. We have to explain first
In the political system.
in the
your
political
country.
system, and in this idea of setting up a sort of insurance for the rest of the world to never use nuclear weapons, and in the same time to protect the countries who are dealing to be protected by themselves in setting up a sort of nuclear bomb.
Because there are many people here who say two things. One, that if this government had started not with an agreement with the US but with France, then
Then yes, it has been-
would have
I
moved
understand.
much more smoothly in the political system here.
Who said so?
Well, I mean, many people say so. And second, that howsoever it happens ultimately, it will be the French who will benefit the most.
It's a good idea, but I didn't say so. You said so. You know, I'm a diplomat now.
That's not so wonderful.
Well,
We want Mr. Kouchner, the socialist, back.
okay, but I tell you the truth. I think this is a good idea to be in agreement with the rest of the world, not to be out of the treaty,
Right.
not to maintain this position out of the non-proliferation treaty, etc., and to get back to the round table and to set up this sort of, let's say, nuclear shield without the threat of having other countries who wanted to join the club, etc., stopping this
So when
race to.
So when this comes up, post-IAEA, provided this government survives, if this comes up at NSG,
It has to come.
we should consider France to be on board.
It depends on the terms of the treaty, but
Yes.
I believe that this is the beginning of something. Yes, but
Yes.
you have to sign. You have to be, let's say, in agreement with
Yes.
the agency. Yes.
Yeah, so in principle, once the agreement with the agency is arrived at, France will support.
It has always been our position, but let's talk about the treaty. It's up to you to
Right.
negotiate a good treaty.
Right.
Yes, it has always been our position.
That if India becomes a part of the system, it's better.
Of course, yes, it is better. And another time, not only a fixed part of the system, but after to think about the protection of everybody on the earth.
So that India then becomes an activist member of the system.
Yes.